This is the Bible Touchstone just responding to 4986x, and he responded to the video, The New Covenant Realization of the New Heavens and the New Earth. So we're just going to reply to some of the particular questions which he asked on this subject. And first we're going to look at Isaiah chapter 65, verse 17. It says, "For behold, I create a new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered nor come into mind." Now, 4986x, and he's in good company among so many other expositors and theologians, they posit that there is supposed to be a material restoration of the cosmos in the new heavens and the new earth, whereas the new heavens and the new earth doesn't replace the old covenantal subpoenaed witnesses to the Deuteronomic covenant. These are the material new heavens and the material new earth, which are to restore what was lost in Genesis chapter 3. So we're going to look and see from the predisposition, is it true that there is some sort of restoration, and what restoration is that? Because when we look in Isaiah chapter 65, as mentioned, it says, "The former shall not be remembered nor come into mind." So there's that sort of lag. Does the predisposition suggest that there is no sort of restoration? Well, it says in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, and we're starting at verse 17 to 19, it says, "Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. All things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new." Same sort of language, right? And it says, "All things are of God, who hath reconciled us to himself by Jesus Christ, and hath given to us the ministry of reconciliation." And it says in verse 19, "To wit, that God was in Christ reconciling the world unto himself, not imputing their trespasses unto them, and hath committed unto us the word of reconciliation." So God hath loved the world that he gave his Son to as a sacrifice. Now it says in Romans chapter 11, verse 15, it says, "For if the casting away of them, the reconciling of the world, what shall the receiving of them be but life from the dead?" So this life from the dead, here we see in Romans chapter 5, it says, "For if when we were enemies we were reconciled to God by the death of his Son, much more being reconciled we shall be saved by his life." So this is that life from the dead, the restoration, that sort of restoration of life. This is the most important thing. It says in Isaiah chapter 66, verse 22, "For as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain." So even though the former shall not be remembered nor come to mind, God has determined and preserved his elect to persevere in him. He's kept them by his promise. Isaiah chapter 65, verses 22 to 24, we're going to look at a few things here, because there are some that posit that there's not going to be any sin outside of the gates of heaven once this new heaven and this new earth are restored. It says, "There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that hath not filled his days, for a child shall die as 100 years old, but the sinner, being as 100 years old, shall be accursed." So even though there's still a sinner, or by implication sin, and there's still an infant, though the infant gets to live very long, the infant and that old man, they still fill their days and still die. And even there's still labor in this new heavens and new earth. It says, "And they shall build houses and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them," and so on. And it says, "And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear." So this is an illustration of the gospel dispensation, where God has illuminated those who are his to respond to his holy calling. Now it says in Revelation chapter 21, verse 1, and it says, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, and the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea." So even though there's no sort of implication of a restoration with all this passing away, there's still this thing of becoming new. All things are made new in Christ. So let's look here a little bit deeper. In verse 27 it says, "And there shall in no wise enter in anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination, or maketh a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life." And also in chapter 22 it says, "Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they might have the right to the tree of life and may enter through the gates into the city. For without are dogs, sorcerers, whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whatever loveth and maketh a lie. So outside of the gates are all those murderers, those that sin, all those things by implication, those things still exist outside of the gates of the restored kingdom, that new Jerusalem. But inside of the gates, in heaven, that when those who are called by his purpose meet God face to face, those people, they no longer are absorbed in sin. They are freed from those things, being reconciled by the work of Christ. So that sort of, I guess that should be an adequate answer for the questions that 4986X brings up. So any more questions, just, another video or any other comments or emails will be sufficient. As always, great video.